Hello there, and thank you for joining us from wherever you are. We're coming to you live from our studios here in Kokomlemle on digital address GA0992539. Our top stories this hour. Electoral Commission says it has published final voter register on its website without biometric details of the voters. The Commission has been briefing the public on its preparedness. We have the details. We'll bring that to you shortly. Also coming up, members of the security agencies will gear up to cast their vote in tomorrow's special voting exercise 7 days ahead of the general elections to enable them better focus and police the ballot. We hear from the EC on how it is prepared for this exercise, as it says a near perfect flow should be anticipated. Also in this package, NPP and NDC supporters clash in a bloody row. 9 of them have been arrested and are expected to be arraigned. We're live with the updates as we hear from Dr. Ibn Chambers on what we ought to do as we go forward towards a bullet-free election. Those are our leading stories this hour. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities Digne-Lu, affordable, safe sanitation. Do join us and tell your friends to join us on DSTV 421, Go TV 144. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube and on all our social media handles, especially on Facebook. My name is Gifty Andopia. This is The Pulse. Please be my guest. You're welcome to the show, and I take you through the details of that and more. We'll be talking a lot more about election security. We'll hit the campaign trail. We'll tell you what the EC is talking about as far as their preparedness is concerned. But let's take a look at the polls that are emerging. With exactly 1 week to the year's presidential and parliamentary election, there have been a number of researches, polls and surveys, and they've all been, they're seeking to project how voters will essentially cast their ballot. While this has not been a prominent feature of Ghana's electoral process, these researchers have actually predicted very interesting outcomes, with a number of them forecasting victory for incumbent President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Some are actually projecting a presidential rerun. My colleague Kwekwa Sante has been putting the reports together. Listen.
October this year, the Ghana Center for Democratic Development published its pre-election survey, which sampled 2,400 Ghanaian adults. According to the survey, nearly 9 in 10 of the respondents indicated their readiness to vote in the upcoming election, signaling a potentially high voter turnout. Although this survey fell short on predicting a winner for the upcoming polls, it gave signals. According to CDD, the governing NPP rates higher in public confidence than the NDC, with a 15-point lead. Shortly after that, pollster and editor of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, Ben Efson, projected President Akufo-Addo will win a second term with 52.6%, as against John Mahame's 45.7%. Although Mr. Efson has not published his full methodology and other variables of his research yet, he indicated the respondents were sampled from the Greater Accra, Central and Western regions. Only last week, the University of Ghana's Political Science Department released its survey, whose outcome generated huge controversy. The survey, in which 11,949 respondents were interviewed, said the NPP's presidential candidate will win with a 51.7% lead. John Mahama is expected to follow with 40.4% of the votes. What surprised many was the revelation that Ghana Union Movement will place third. According to the researchers, the respondents said they will vote based on campaign messages. Over the weekend, a survey conducted by online pollsters, iPoll, on the policies, parties and the choices of respondents surveyed 670 people, most of who indicated that the NDC has the best plans on the economy compared to the NPP. When asked who they will vote for, 49% of the respondents said they will vote for the NDC and John Mahama, while 46% said they will vote President Akufo-Addo and the NPP. This means that none of the two parties crossed the constitutionally required 50% and 1 vote to win, hence a presidential runoff. Yet another research conducted this time by the Governance Research Bureau predicted that the December 7th poll may not produce a winner, as none of the candidates is expected to poll more than 50% of the votes. Based on its analysis of the EC certified results since 1992 and the 2020 voters register, the Bureau estimated that the NPP's Nana Akufo-Addo will poll 49.19%, whilst NDC's John Mahama will take 48.27%, while other parties will make do with 2.54%.
Kwasante put together that report. So what do you think? I want you to share your thoughts with us on our social media handles as well as our WhatsApp platform. So we hit the street and we asked some Ghanaians what they have, what thoughts they have about these researches, the polls, etc. We found out whether or not these capture their sentiment. Listen.
I don't think the prediction or whatever people are saying might change my view of voting. For me, I think it's a political, influence. Some of them, they belong to a particular party, but they don't show up themselves for people to know.
It can reflect, but I don't think it is going to reflect because it's just political propaganda I think they are doing, but I don't think it can really reflect that much. For me, I don't think but it can affect people. Because some people may think people are saying Nanado is going to win, so unfortunately they will go in for that so for them to say they won't spoil their votes.
It's not a matter of somebody predict current government will win or whoever is even contesting will also win. Until the vote comes, I don't even follow that issue they are talking about. It will never, because I know where I'm standing. If I'm going to vote, even from the day one from January, I know this is election year, I know where I'll go and vote.
Some of them are not objective enough, right? And because their objectivity cannot be ascertained, I don't trust in them so much.
As the prediction they have come out is going to reflect, simply because the plans on the ground is good. Are you getting it? This government have done a lot. It's not going to affect my voting at all.
President Akufo-Addo is promising prosperity, progress and massive development in his second term should he get the chance to be president again. According to him, a solid foundation has been laid ready for a smooth takeoff. The president has been addressing separate rallies at Mpoho, Agonankwanta, Takwa on his Western regional tour. He's warning that any attempts to change the government will retard the progress of Ghana. He also accuses his main opponent, John Mahama, of running what he calls a deceitful campaign.
Free senior high school on another buy. On that Ghana, some workers on another buy. Hey, it's your pay also nyame. Also nyame. Free senior high. What's that Bebo Ghana? Dangerous policy. Now everything should be done to stop Akufo-Addo from bringing senior high school. Yeah, then now because on how they buy. Money ma good the campaign no. On one who said campaign no attention. The campaign, Mahama's campaign has collapsed. It has collapsed in confusion. It has collapsed in misrepresentation. Outright fabric visa Ghana for.
Yenikaye engineer refi. We part to make us access Ghana for only a bull maye. So cause he to be refi ade. No nyakopon twedi upon nyakopon wo. Otsana okay. And a Ghana mind better Mahama said you won't kaya na yenikaye. Electoral commissions say why am I polling stations no a brand new MOBia man traffic can say oh nana abey wa father da until nyasa meto onto wo dia nana enyaye onto wo dia kutuka enyaye Misramo bia kono kotunaba na yemfa nije kesiemre Ghana se Ghana ye nankwa so ekoye nimo ye koye ni we're not turning back to confusion and incompetence. We're going ahead with organization and progress and development for our nation.
Final push going down right there. Well, with just 7 days to the general election, the president has also, as you heard him do, refocusing his message on getting electorate to actually step out to vote. He says he expects a massive turnout to ensure a one-touch victory. How about we go to our correspondent who is with the team right now to get more of what's happening. Hello, Elton. Elton, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Great. Good afternoon, Elton. So let's start with where you are at the moment.
So we are currently living the offensive township. The president just finished addressing the Deba in the offensive north south constituency, which is the offensive township itself. He just paid a courtesy call on the Omankene of the offensive traditional area, and we are just about leaving the offensive township to our next destination.
So far, the president has been talking, as you mentioned in the stories you sent us, trying to get people to step out and actually vote. He's talking about securing an 85% of the popular votes and getting all 47 seats in this particular region. Tell us more. What more does he say? What is the strategy?
Well, for them, the Asante region is their base. And if they are able to win and win by a large margin, it will help them secure the election itself, which comes off some few days away from today. According to the organizers of the party in the region, they are targeted to win the 47 seats available in the region. They are convinced that with the new voters register has pushed the electoral roll in the Asante region to a little over 3 million, they can, if they work so hard, they will be able to move it from the 75% they got in 2016 to around 85%, and then also work towards securing all the 47 seats in the region. The analysis they've been putting together is that if they are able to get 85%, that will be enough to cancel all the NDC votes that will be coming from, for example, the northern region, Upper East, Upper West, Savannah, North East, and parts of the Hafo, and then the Bono region. And for that reason, if their statistics or their analysis, what will come through after the December election, then they can go to bed knowing very well that they will form the next government. That's how come they are focused so much on them in their campaign, which is their strong point anyway. And then to encourage people to come out and vote. President Akufo was a party that I cannot win if you don't vote. I only win if you vote. And that has been the message so far. Both from counting achievements, encouraging people to come out in their numbers next week Monday to vote. They shouldn't sit home and assume that the FP has already won. He says that if that assumption stands, it will not go well for the MPC and their opponents will take advantage and then they will. So the only way the region can achieve the 85% that they are working towards is for to come out with the numbers for the election day and vote. That will be the message so far.
Well, Elton, where else are you expected to stop by before this final push ends?
So from the itinerary that we have Wokro, Central Market, and few other places for the president to stop. Now, I don't see it there, but all I see is to stop and drive through. Meaning the president wants to make himself visible to the electorate within these areas and then get them to understand that he's in town. And then the president, according to the handles of the president, will encourage people to come out in the numbers on December 7th. For them, getting more people to come out and vote is the strategy now.
Certainly a good one there. Elton, thank you very much for the update. Elton Brove is our presidential affairs correspondent. Of course, is embedded with the president's campaign team, and they're making the final push. We've got 7 days to go. I'll tell you about his main contender, John Dramani Mahama. But before that, the NPP parliamentary candidate in the Takwan constituency, who has also been joining the president's team when he got there, is facing stiff competition from an independent candidate, Joycelyn Ando. threatening the party's chances there. The former Ghana's ambassador to the United Kingdom, Papa Owusu Ankoma, wants the party to stick with the NPP's candidate.
Eya Muabrochi and my colleague, ambassadors and high commissioners, Waba we baby summer there. Now one president, Abazin on Namoda, Otum, Oriyeza, Oriye Wagana. Now one president, Abazin no Oriya Wawa, Ghana, Warukwe entire world baby summer there. Mom, woman paying this speech is why my is so a film. I am telling you, you should be part of the transformation of Ghana. Yeah. If you be why ye was such a can you pay her on me there? Yamidia a bit more to walk school, would you see? Since with free senior high school, no, but catch on there. I can't pay Ghana if you yeah, NPP. Yesterday, Busia, yesterday, Haban. India that don't know what you know, and a for what you pay. Duka is part of the NPP's future. If Yami Adom, Exina Ledapian, 7 December, Ayana, Sayako, Yakotu Abana, Mama Yashabia. Yes, Rona. Yes, number one.
Well, we have hit the campaign trail already, and as you know, this is your election headquarters in association with Petrosol and Cowbell Coffee. Well, we'll talk to you about the candidate. I've already told you about President Akufo-Addo, who is focusing his campaign on rallying voters to go out in their numbers to vote. Well, his main contender, the NDC's John Dramani Mahama, launched an assault on Mr. Akufo-Addo and the NPP, accusing them of vote buying, as he says his sources within the police service have revealed the men and women in uniform have received various amounts in their account with just 1 week to the election. Mr. Mahama claims that during a rally in the Tamale North constituency and repeated same during a Sunday night rally in Damango, these concerns. Well, Maxwell Agbagba is with the team, and Maxwell joins us with more on this. Hello, Maxwell. We'll try and raise Maxwell there, but as you know, this is your election headquarters. The campaign trail is on. We've been highlighting the two main contenders for this particular election. Of course, we'll bring you highlights as well of those others who are campaigning. You've heard from President Akufo-Addo, who is focusing his strategy or regrouping to ensure that people get out to vote. Listen to a report put together by Maxwell Agbagba on the former president campaign so far.
This is how party supporters and residents of the Tamale North constituency welcomed the NDC presidential candidates. He had earlier visited the Savelugu and Tolon constituencies. At a night rally in the Tamale North constituency, he accused government of vote buying.
Akufo-Addo has failed. And so all he has now is to try and buy the election. And so they are spending money as if there's no tomorrow. I just learned from a group of police officers that they've paid monies into their accounts. All of them, all police officers. Because they know that They have destroyed the morale of the Ghana Police Service because he's infiltrated the police service with all kinds of thugs and hoodlums, invisible forces, Delta forces, who have no sense of discipline. And he thinks that he can buy our police officers with 1,000 Ghana cedis or 2,000 Ghana cedis just because an election is coming. They will take that money and they will vote against him. And so 2,000 or 1,000 or 3,000 will not buy their conscience.
The NDC presidential candidate repeated the same allegation of vote buying in the Damongo constituency later Sunday evening.
Getting to the voting day, this NPP government think they can buy the election. And so they are distributing money everywhere. They are giving teachers money, and they think that after 4 years of suffering, before an election, they can come and give you money and buy your conscience and your mind so that you will vote for them, even when you know that this country is going in the wrong direction under Nana Akufo-Addo. I'm sorry, Ghanaians are not for sale.
In the Tolan constituency, the NDC presidential candidate accused the NPP of unjustifiably taking credit for the new Tolan district hospital. This hospital in contention was actually commissioned about 5 days ago by the Vice President Mahmudu Bawumia. Now, in fact, during the commissioning, he stated that contrary to what he describes as propaganda, he says that contrary to what people have put out there, that the NPP has not constructed any hospital since they assumed office. They have. And indeed, he stated that the Tolan District Hospital is one of the evidence that he can put forward that, yes, indeed, they've constructed hospitals. In fact, in his speech, he stated that truth crawls, but it would always triumph over falsehood.
As Haruna said, they have no knowledge of this hospital. I announced this hospital for the first time in Bupe in 2015, after we had secured the funding. And there were 4 of those hospitals. We sent one to Bupe. And so we didn't choose the hospitals for nothing. We put one here in Tolong, and we put one in my constituency in Bamboy. And so they have no knowledge of this hospital. The Tolong Hospital is one of the legacies of the NDC administration.
Scores of people gathered here to wish the NDC presidential candidate John Mahama happy birthday. As he arrived here at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, scores of NDC supporters and other people who were here at the facility started singing happy birthday.
God bless you now. May God bless you now. May God bless you now. May God bless you now.
May God bless you now. May God bless you now. May God bless you now. May God bless you now. Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
That's the NDC's flag bearer there on the campaign trail and celebrating his birthday, certainly there. And let me get to Maxwell Agbagba, who's joining us with more. Hello, Maxwell. Where are you right now? Hello, Maxwell?
Yeah. Hello, you're asking what the NDC presidential candidate has been doing?
Right. I started with where you are right now, but go ahead.
Well, he has been on the campaign trail. Today he's been visiting the Bole, he's been visiting the Bumpurungu, Yonyo, Sisala North constituencies as well. and it's all part of his tour of the Savannah region. Now, key amongst the things that he has been talking about is safety and security for the people who live in the Savannah region. He talked about that when we were in the northern region. He talked about that as well when we were in the northeast region, and now he's reiterating that point also in the Savannah region. He says that in the Savannah region and quite a number of communities in northern Ghana, they are one way or the other in some kind of self-imposed curfew. There's some kind of self-imposed curfew. He says that usually at night it's difficult to actually see cars, plying the roads in those communities. He says he's actually observed during his tour. In fact, we were part of the team. So usually on the road, we are with them in the middle of the night, sometimes in the dead of the night, sometimes around 1 a.m., around 2 a.m. And it is difficult actually to see vehicles, using those major highways that go through northern region, the Savannah region, and northeast region. He says he has observed that, and he thinks that it seems to be some kind of unspoken curfew situation there. And he's attributing it to the increase in crime rate in those regions, especially highway robbery. He says that is making it difficult for the people to actually travel at night and go about their normal duties at night. So when he meets the people, he's been promising them that if the NDC is elected into government, they will make sure, then he should make sure it provides safety and then proper security as well, for the people. He says that the morale of Ghana security agencies has actually been dampened by some happenings. And he talks about the infiltration of the security setup by persons who are not qualified to do so. He has been talking about various vigilante groups, infiltrating the national security setup. And he says all of these things have dampened the morale, of our security agencies, and it's not really helping them to effectively play their role as security personnel. He says sometimes bulletproof vests, sometimes weapons and other important logistics that they need to fight crime are sometimes, diverted to some of these vigilante groups. This is very big on security and safety. He reiterated the point in many communities, that we visited. Another thing he's been talking about, one of the main things also he has been talking about is the National Apprenticeship Program. He acknowledges that one of the major problems in northern Ghana is the migration of women and then girls from northern Ghana to southern Ghana in search of jobs. He says that sometimes most of them find themselves engaging in the head porter business, career business in southern Ghana. He says the National Apprenticeship Program, if implemented by a future NDC government, will ensure that we find a solution to that. He says that by equipping those girls with skills, with vocational and technical skills, that would help them stay back and help develop their various communities and stop them from migrating to southern Ghana in search of greener pastures. That's one of the things he's been talking about, and that's something he's been heavy on in almost all the communities that we've visited on this tour, with him. He mentioned it in the Ashanti region. He mentioned it in the Upper East region, in the Northeast region, Northern region, Savannah. It's free senior high school policy. Indeed, he makes it so obvious that he knows how, the free senior high school program, he knows the dynamics of it in this election. So usually when he gets the opportunity to speak to the people, sometimes he'll talk about, he'll give the jobs, but he would make sure he definitely comes back to the NDC's manifesto and talk to the people about what they have in the manifesto. So he's been talking a lot about the free senior high school program. He says if the NDC is elected into government, they will make sure they continue with the free senior high school policy. He says it will take NPP 7 years to abolish the double track system, but it will take the NDC 1 year. He says within 1 year, they will abolish the double track system. Another thing we've realized on our rounds in the Savannah region, Northeast region, and other parts is the infrastructure record. So at many places, he will talk about how in 2016, the NPP did not have any record. They came to the table with this promise. So he will the NPC's premises against his track record.
Maxwell, I'm losing you. I believe you're on the move right now. If you hear me, do wrap up for me because of your movement here.
Yep, great. So, here's the talking about NPP's. In fact, now it is the NPP's 2016 to 2020 record against his record when he was president of Ghana. He says that this record as president of Ghana is unparalleled when it comes to infrastructure, and he thinks that the NPP cannot beat him on any day. And he says he's still extending his call, for a debate. He said what President Akufo-Addo had an opportunity to debate him. He don't want to debate him, but he's still open, to comparison of their records, and Kenyans should use that as basis for who they elect, come December 17th.
Well, Maxwell, that's a lot of information there. If you hear me, where next does he go, and when does he wrap up the last push, if you like?
Well, unofficial communication we have suggests that Eastern region and Volta region, that will be his next stop. That has not been confirmed yet. We're waiting for confirmation. The unofficial information we have is Volta region.
All right, Maxwell, I'll say a very big thanks to you. I see the struggle with which you're trying to get through, get the information through to us. Thank you. Maxwell Agbagbade is embedded with the team of the flag bearer for the NDC. They're bringing us up to speed. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty Andopia. We'll tell you about what the Electoral Commission has been saying. Today, they held a press conference outlining their preparedness or their preparation plans. We'll tell you more about it. And tomorrow is a day for the special voting. We'll talk about that one as well. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. And Lady Reverend Adelaide Eward Mills, wife of Lighthouse Chapel founder Reverend Dr. Doug Eward Mills, has urged women to make a difference in next week's general elections by speaking to policymakers in wise ways to maintain the peace of the country. Lady Reverend Adelaide Eward Mills spoke on the theme Ensuring Peace in the Election 2020, the Woman Factor, on Joy FM's daily devotion program, Joy Time in His Presence.
This woman came nigh unto her. And the woman said, Art thou Joab? And he answered, I am he. Then she said unto him, Hear the words of thine handmaid. And he answered, I do hear. The man is in the midst of war. He has dug trenches. He's broken walls. But a woman's voice is able to bring the army commander to a place where he's sober, he's not using his weapon, and he's hearing. Then she spake, saying, They used to say in old time, they surely shall ask counsel at Abel. She was in Abel. So the matter ended. She said that people used to seek wise counsel from my town, from my country called Abel. And I am one of them that are peaceable and faithful in Israel. Most women are peaceable when it comes to violence and fighting. And most women are faithful in Israel. And even if it's not everybody, there are still some wise women and faithful and peaceable women out there. And the woman said, Thou seekest to destroy a city and a mother in Israel. She's making Joab aware of the consequences of what he is doing. You are seeking to kill a mother in Israel and to destroy a city. Oh, if we will talk to our politicians, if we will talk to even our youth, we'll talk to the people in our communities. He said, look, you are seeking to destroy a city, a nation, a constituency, a place, and you are seeking to destroy we, the women. Because that's what the woman said. You are seeking to destroy a mother. A mother. Why would you? Why will thou swallow up the inheritance of the Lord? Why would you destroy Ghana? What will be there for you to rule? And Joab said, far be it from me that I should swallow up or destroy. And Joab said, oh, the matter is not that. Then the woman said, and Joab said, I just need the head of Bikri. And the woman said, I will give you the head of Bikri. Verse 22. She went and spoke to other people. Then the woman went unto all the people in her wisdom, not in her warlike fashion, not in her anger, in her wisdom. And they cut off the head of Sheba, the son of Bikri, and cast it out to Joab. And Joab blew a trumpet, and they retired from the city, every man to his tent. And Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. Oh, hallelujah.
Amen.
She was able to deliver the enemy, for whose sake the whole nation was going to be destroyed, and mothers in Israel were going to be destroyed. And because of that, Joab blew the trumpet, no war, and he walked away as if he wasn't a war general. Women, we are powerful, and we can make a difference. Lastly, my time is up. Jeremiah 9:17. Just say the Lord of hosts, consider ye and call for the mourning women, that they may come, and send for cunning women or wise women, that they may come, and let them make haste and take up a wailing for us, that our eyes may run down with tears, and our eyelids gush out with waters. For a voice of wailing is heard out of Zion. How are we spoiled? Yet hear the word of the Lord, O ye women, and let your ear receive the word of his mouth. And teach your daughters wailing, and everyone her neighbor lamentation. Why? For death is come up into our windows, and is entered into the palaces. Why? To cut off the children from without, and the young men from the streets. God is calling on us to call the wailing women. We are good at crying, but it's good to direct the prayer to the throne room of God. It's good to direct the prayer to our closet. It's good to direct the prayer to maybe national prayers. Women, arise and let's start to wail. And not only that, it's saying that we should teach our daughters to wail. We should teach our daughters how to intercede. We should teach our daughters how to reach out to God. And women, with the wailing and with the wisdom and with all the strategic positioning, I believe that we can make a difference in this 2020 election. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall be blessed and prosper that love thee. May that be our mantle and our mantra for this upcoming election. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Reverend, Lady Reverend Lady Ward Mills there speaking earlier today on Joy Time. In his presence throughout the week, you'll be hearing more of women who are inspiring other women to be a part of the process towards peaceful elections. Now, 9 people will be arraigned after one person was injured and several properties damaged last night after a clash between supporters of the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress in the Yagaba Kubori constituency. Let's hear from the NDC MP for the area, Amadou Tanko, narrating what happened.
I'm actually the target, and they ambushed me in Tantala, where my opponent comes from. That is his village, and certainly that is a stronghold. We went there to talk to our people, and we were attacked verbally, and we went to make a complaint to the chief of Tantala. And when we made the complaint, even during the attack, there was one gentleman who was telling them that what they were doing was not good. And when we went to the chief's palace to complain, somebody identified them and told them the one who was even telling them to stop what they were doing was not good is the brother of my opponent. The chief said, fine, you people should calm down, go to the place and do your rally, talk to the people. I will send some of my representatives to come and be part of it. So the representatives came and sought to talk to the people. We gave them the mic. They spoke to the people and advised them. After the advice, we went ahead to do our rally. And as it was going on, we saw pillars of stones being thrown on us. And Definitely, that was not the beginning. And the people, I just told them they should pack and we go home. That ended the rally because I said there was no way we could come and they would be attacking us. So we should go home. I said that. And as we were packing, there was some fight between our people and their people. And I managed to get everybody in my side and my team on the vehicles. And as we were leaving, they thought the vehicle I was using. I was very lucky that I wasn't using that vehicle myself. So they shot, targeted and shot at the driver's side because knowing very well that I was the one driving the vehicle. It penetrated the windscreen and hit the driving wheel. You know, we're very, very lucky that it didn't hit anybody. And then we came. You know, when we came, I drove straight to my house, sat down and was pondering on what to do. I called the district commander and informed them this is what is happening. I said my people should go and make a complaint. You know, and so they went to make the complaint. Actually, it is undesirable event, and I think that we have to look at it critically because they were talking about power, and that is not what power. You should seek power from the people to do. Seeking for power to develop the people and not to attack the people, not to destroy the people. So that is what we have seen, and I think that they have to look at it critically.
So, Honorable, with this coming 7th December, what do you think way forward?
That is left to the security agencies. For us, we are here, and it is their duty to protect everybody. Until they fail to protect us, that is when we will come out to say we will protect ourselves.
We can now listen to the caretaker for the NPP of the NPP office in Yagaba, Abbas Salifu, on his side of the story.
They are saying that some boy be wearing MPP visa. Okay. Inside the hand. So they was making the meeting. There's not plenty people over there. Someone threw stone. They say someone threw stone. Okay. When the stone come, they just get up and come and hold the guy and beat the guy. 2 guys. Okay. After the first guy from Zupeni, it didn't even come from Tantala, okay. From Zupeni, and they beat that guy. They beat even 2 guys from Zupeni. Okay. So, and they went just for the summer hats, MPP base. Okay. They put it down. Okay. And they want a different MPP base. They put that one, 2 down. Okay. So, and the MPP people to say no, they will not allow. Okay. And they get up. Okay. So, and they ran away. Before Alalas, they come and meet me here. Before Alalas, they are just here. Some ones to bang, bang, bang. Wow. I don't know what to do again. So, I just want to do this and this. Before Alalas, the blood come. Bang! So, that's all.
This is still a developing story, and as our correspondent Ilyasu Tanko reports, 9 persons have been arrested and they're expected to have been arraigned. We'll keep our eyes on it and update you as we go along. But still on election security, Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, Sam George, says he will not tolerate what he's calling national security operatives in his constituency on election day. According to him, he has picked up information that some national security personnel will be deployed to the constituency to, in his words, create confusion. He says that security arrangement for election 2020 makes no mention of deployment of national security operatives. Hence, such persons will be treated as criminals should they be seen in Ningo Pram. There's more in this report.
Thousands of NDC loyalists and sympathizers of the party participated in a massive hard walk led by the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, Sam George. The NP, together with MP for Adan East, Comfordoyo Ganza, MP for Shai Osidoku Lindoklu, and other bigwigs of the party, walked through the principal streets of the constituency to galvanize and energize their base for Victory 2020. Speakers who took turns to address the crowd charged them to retain their respective MPs whilst ensuring the return of the party flag bearer John Mahama to power. The Ningo Prampram constituency has been identified as a hotspot going into this year's election. The NP, Sam George, is warning against any deployment of national security operatives to cause confusion in the area on election day.
There's a list of state agencies that will be operational on election day. The Ghana Police Service, the National Intelligence Bureau, previously called the BNI, the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Fire Service, the Ghana Prison Service, the National Ambulance Service. These were the institutions, and then the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. These are the agencies that we were told in Parliament by the chairman of the Joint Election Task Force, the IGP, will be operational. I am putting this out and serving notice and warning. No national security operative will be allowed in this constituency on election day. We asked that question clearly. We were told that only police officers and military officers in their official military uniform will be on duty. Nobody in brown khaki uniforms, like we saw in Ayaso West Wagon, will be allowed to misbehave here. So if any hoodlum claiming to be a national security operative shows up here to violate the constitutional mandate of the people of Ningo Prampram to cast their vote, we will rise up in defense of the Constitution and deal with them as criminals.
Speaking to the media after the health walk, he also charged the IGP to deploy more security personnel and not rely on national security personnel to ensure a peaceful process on December 7.
The police has designated this place a hotspot. In that light, they must provide enough security such that we do not need any national security. I know the police is present in our constituency. I know the military is present in my constituency. There's no need for national security. They have no business here. The people of Ningo Prampram will go out to cast their votes. The people of the Eastern Corridor will go out to cast our votes in peace. Anybody who tries to usurp or jeopardize that peace, we will deal with you ruthlessly.
And speaking about security, Special Representative of the UN Secretary General, Dr. Ibn Chamba, said media organizations should be guided by the threat of terrorism in their reportage of next month's election. The head of UN Office for West Africa and the Sahel cites the number of people killed in the just ended Ivorian elections and what happened over the weekend in Nigeria, the north of Nigeria, the massacre of people as being as being organized by the Boko Haram, or Boko Haram has taken responsibility of that. He used that to make a strong case against media promoting hate speech, as well as reasonable collaborations, especially among the political parties and the Electoral Commission, to ensure ballots are cast without chaos.
On the issue of deployment of security forces for elections, we know that we need a secure environment for elections to take place. So that means first and foremost ensuring that the operatives, the staff and others who are associated with the Electoral Commission must be given adequate security to deploy across the country with the material that will be required, so that there will be no effort at snatching or trying to destroy materials before, during, and after elections. So no one can underplay the importance of security. Second level is ensuring that there's adequate security to enable Ghanaians on that day to feel safe, to come out of their homes in numbers, to be able to go and exercise their franchise in a truly free and unhindered manner. And I think these should be the key principles guiding any deployment. It should be done in a transparent manner. It should be done such that no particular group or region will feel that deployment has been done such as to constrain or limit its ability to exercise its free will, its franchise, which is a constitutionally guaranteed right. A lot of the time it comes to the enforcement. We have a parliament, should play its role. We have constitutional authorities, including media commission, should play its role also. And generally, part of growing our democracy and our institutions is giving them the capacities to be able to enforce the Constitution and laws guiding or regulating any sector, including, of course, the media.
As Dr. Ibn Chambers, they're actually speaking about deployment, which is one of the issues that came up at a meeting that he held this afternoon here in Accra with some of the media organizations and editors, to be specific. We can now hear him earlier on his thoughts about being guided by the threat of terrorism in the sub-region in our reportage as media organizations.
Emphasize that we want elections where there will be ballots without bullets. And here I am borrowing from an expression, the campaign of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. About 3-4 weeks ago, I happened to be in Accra, and I was invited to participate in the launch of this campaign of ballots without bullets. I think all of us, I think editors and all the newspapers must champion this campaign of ballots without bullets. We want Ghana on December 7th to emerge shining. And we don't want to hear any sounds of bullets. We want the people's vote through the ballots that they cast to be what determines who emerges the winner, and not any acts of intimidation on that day. The third challenge, which I think also is important and it's more within your domain, you can help us there, you can help Ghana, you can help the sub-region and Africa, is the issue of hate speech and speech that incites to violence, speech that really does not elucidate, but rather foments hatred and bitterness, rancor. So here, the fourth estate that you are in the realm, you need to pay particular attention to this. Do not give voice to those who spread hate speech, whether they are politicians or civil society actors. Please do not do.
For his part, President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Alfil Mone, said Ghana must not feel immune to electoral violence despite its past successes, and the media should lead that cause.
The facts cannot be denied that in every election year in Ghana, the threats of media-induced violence are always high. But for COVID-19 and the death of former President Rawlings, the tensions would have enveloped this country and might be teetering on the brink of something nasty. But COVID-19 and Rawlings' death, again, do not diminish the threats of media-induced violence. So the admonition by His Excellency Dr. Chambers should be taken seriously. Hate speech. And sometimes we love fiery soundbites. And some of our presenters, broadcasters, who are getting notoriety for promoting hate speech, we rather be calling for more fire. Language shapes behavior, and hostile communication can trigger violence. And Ghana is not immune from such danger if the media decide to side with such politicians who have renounced the use of reason and who have no love for country to push us on the brink of self-destruction. For our part, we have organized a cluster of training programs to sensitize the media to be mindful of the enormousness of the task ahead.
Now, it is 1 week to go, the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections, and the Electoral Commission says it's fully prepared for the polls next Monday. They also say they expect 100% turnout. Chairperson of the Commission, Jane Mensah, has been addressing a news conference on the eve of the special voting and explains the preparations made so far for the exercise.
May be aware, the Electoral Commission reached out to the security agencies and media houses to inform them about the special voting facility. The letter requested them to send details of their members who wished to take part in the special voting exercise to the Commission. We are pleased to note that the special voting list has been compiled and it has been published on the Commission's website. Additionally, as just mentioned, the Commission has made it possible for persons on the special voting list to check their details using the 2 formats outlined above. We encourage all who applied to take time to check their details before Tuesday, 1st December 2020. This year, the Commission provided the special voting list to representatives of institutions who applied to vote during the special voting tomorrow, the 1st of December. The final special voting list contains 109,557 persons from the various security agencies, media houses, and the Electoral Commission staff. It is instructive to note that this is the highest number the Commission has recorded for special voting in its history. It is also important to mention that the Commission received a number of applications well after the deadline. While some were considered, others came a little too late when the database had gone through the data freeze. Once the database went through that process, no changes or transfers could be made. and all lists received after the data freeze could, however, not be processed. It is important to note and to encourage the public to disregard the information going on social media that the Commission has prevented security agencies from registering. This is not true. Every officer who applied on time and provided the correct voter ID card details was duly registered. For the information of the public, the special voting exercise will take place at selected locations in all 275 constituencies on the 1st of December 2020. We entreat all who applied to verify their details and locations on the Commission's website. As you may be aware, the Commission published the locations for the special voting in the newspapers, I think Graphic Times, Business and Financial Times, and the Daily Guide on Monday, the 23rd of November, 2020. Distinguished citizens, all is set for the special voting tomorrow, Tuesday, the 1st of December. To date, our officers have been recruited and trained, and they stand in readiness to deliver a smooth and seamless and peaceful and orderly process. All materials necessary have been distributed in sufficient quantities, and this includes the COVID materials. The COVID-19 protocols will be put in place. Stringent COVID-19 protocols will be put in place and observed. The biometric verification devices have been prepared and deployed. As a Commission, we expect a near 100% turnout, and we are confident that the outcomes will be peaceful, credible, orderly, seamless, and transparent, God being our helper. As the good book states, a horse is prepared for battle, but victory comes from God. As a Commission, we have, as a collective, starting from the Commission to directors, deputies, regional directors and deputies, district electoral officers, and our temporary officers, have put in place all measures, including our laborers and all our staff have put in place everything it takes for a peaceful and orderly and transparent and seamless and successful encounter and election. But we believe that although we are prepared for battle, the victory comes from God, and because He's been our help from ages past and remains our help to today, we're expecting that the outcomes will be peaceful and credible and fair and transparent and orderly and seamless, God being our helper. In the mighty name of Jesus.
Jean Mensah there. She's also reiterated the Commission's intention to declare results of the election within 24 hours after polls close.
I can assure you that the elections will be peaceful and they'll be violence-free and orderly and seamless in Jesus' name. There will be no chaos in Jesus' name. But I think there's nothing secret about the work that the Commission does. And the question we should ask ourselves is, would we rather have the elections declared after 1 week? I think ordinarily the intention of declaring elections is to really minimize tension. After all, if you have the results, why sit on it? Why wait on the results when you have the results? We all know that our media houses have in the past been able to, present the results within some 10 hours of the poll. And so if you put in place systems to ensure that you receive the results on time, why the panic? I think the panic should rather be if the EC says it will declare the elections after 1 week, then we should be panicking. But if you're bringing in efficiency and allaying the fears and suspicions of persons, I think that this should be commended and encouraged. And rather, we should all work together to achieve this. I think it's a very simple process. Our processes still remain virtually manual, and the EC is not engaging in some complex electronic transmission of results to enable us to achieve that. It's still a very simple process. When you come to the polling station, the results are collated there, From the polling stations, the results are moved to the constituency collation center, and they are all put together on that collation sheet and the summary sheet. This time we've introduced a regional dimension. And so rather than the results coming to, constituency results coming to the commission, it will go to the regional offices. And the party agents are fully aware of this. This is in the law. It's in CI 127 that governs the election. So it's not a creation of the commission. It's important to note that that law was a collaboration between the EC and Parliament. And by Parliament, I'm referring to the Subsidiary Legislative Committee of Parliament. So the law, the CI 127, has put in place another level where from the constituency, all the constituency results go to the regions. And the regions collate the constituency results or the regional sheet, collation sheet, and also a summary sheet. And those results are transferred to the EC. What we have simply done is to train and build capacity for an efficient delivery of that service. So it's nothing different. It's not figures appearing from the moon or from Mars, but it's the same system where the sheets, and you're relying on the picture, and it's coming through fax machines and scanned copies through emails. So it's not figures coming through, but the picture of the sheet from the regional collation and, of course, the regional summary sheet as well. So it's just capacity that has been built and efficiency has been injected into the process. And the whole idea is that, yes, the intention is not cast in stone, but the intention is that you're working at the efficient system so that if you receive all the results, you will declare it in 24 hours. There's no point receiving the results and we taking a chill. We going on holiday and, you know, and having a blast for 2-3 days and say, let's keep the nation in suspense. You know, because really there's no point in doing that. So you receive it, the results are accurate, they are satisfied, you release it. So that's a very simple process. And that's what we intend to do. And all things being equal, if you receive it, you would let the citizenry know.
That's the EC chairperson, Jean Mensah, there earlier today at a press conference. Well, we had billed a number of political party representatives to have a conversation on what their response to this has been. Elvis Afriyankwa of the NDC, Ivor Greenstreet of the CPP, Alfred Kwame Asiedu-Walker, who is a presidential candidate, and Evans Nimako, Director of Elections for the NPP. We also had expected to have Reverend Christian Kwabena Andrews. It looks like they're having issues with their Zoom, but I do have the PPP's representative who is still hanging on the Zoom for us, Richard Ni Ama. Richard, it looks like we're going to have to just do this with you alone, but that's okay. So what is the PPP's position? You've had the EC chairperson. The NDC hasn't really been excited about announcing the election results in 24 hours.
Well, I think we should wish the EC well and pray that things go quite well. It is the first time that any electoral commissioner is attempting to announce results in 24 hours. So I believe these kind of reactions are natural. And what the EC needs to do is to try and explain further for everyone to be assured that there isn't going to be challenges with the ambition to declare the results within 24 hours. Because I foresee previously the EC immediately, but for now the EC is saying they are going to send it to the regional offices before they are transmitted from the regional offices to the headquarters, and this looks as if it is rather going to cause more bureaucratic issues that can delay the results. So I'm quite surprised that the EC, which has introduced new layers to the declaration of the results, is rather saying it is going to declare the results within 24 hours. But we are quite optimistic. We do not want to be prophets of doom, and so we pray it goes well with the EC. But what we can say is that the EC needs to be very, very careful, and it needs to communicate well enough to be able to allay the fears of Ghanaians who are questioning the EC's ability to declare the results within 24 hours.
And so let's now focus on your own internal preparations. How prepared are you for this election?
Well, I can say we are very much prepared. We didn't fail in all 275 constituencies. And so for the 20 constituencies that we fielded candidates in it, we have trained our polling agents, we have trained our collation center agents, we have prepared them psychologically and physically to be ready to monitor the election. And even in places where we do not have candidates, we have also trained our constituency executives to be able to monitor the elections and the results effectively. Because in as much as we are fighting to enter parliament, we are also interested in the presidential votes because we are interested in entering Jubilee House as well. And so I can say that the Progressive People's Party is very much prepared for this election, and we are very much ready for next week, December 7th.
Mr. Niyama, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That's the PPP's Director of Elections. And as I said, we had earlier on Zoom the Director of Elections for the political parties. Looks like somehow we lost them on the Zoom except for the PPP. But you've had their thoughts there. You're still watching the polls. We'll take a very quick break. We'll be right back. To stay with us. The paramount queen of Harvard traditional area, Mamaga Trawa IV, has warned the youth against engaging in electoral violence as Ghana heads to the general elections next week. According to her, electoral violence has the tendency of sparking civil unrest, which would make the country unsafe for the citizenry and difficult to govern. Speaking to JoyNews on the sidelines of a peace walk, she implored the youth to not allow themselves to be influenced by politicians.
The Peace Walk served as a platform to engage youth in the area and enlighten them on the need to foster peace among themselves during the 2020 electioneering. Nelson Kpo is a peace ambassador for the 2020 general elections.
Because of the way things are happening in the community, I'm not happy with the way NDC and NPP youths are taking the law into their own hands, thinking politics is all about inciting one group against the other or fighting each other. Instead, it is a battle of ideas, because that's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a fight. The war is against poverty and better life. This was what inspired us to do this.
The paramount queen of Harvard traditional area, Mamaga Trawa IV, advised the youth not to allow themselves to be used by politicians for their personal gains.
Some of our politicians use the youth for nothing, and you see them dying. Some of them just 50 cities. Then the boy is very violent, killing people, fighting here and there, riding motors anyhow. So that's what we want to prevent, because we have only one Ghana, one nation, one people. Look, some of the politicians, they've sent their children abroad, and you are here, they are using you for nothing. When they give you some 50 cities, then you go and beat someone. You take gun, you take knife, you take a whole lot of things, running helter-skelter to go and kill somebody. I'm pleading with them this morning that we only need them. We need them. I, for one, I need my youth. I need them because they are the future leaders of this country. We just don't want to have any violence. No. If there is any violence in the country, where are we running to? We are surrounded by these francophone countries, and they wouldn't allow us to join them. And we wouldn't like anything to happen to us in Ghana, because this is our motherland.
The National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for Afajato South, Angela Alowute, implored his fellow politicians to remain committed to maintaining the peace in the country.
Election. The perception or the assumption that we politicians try to use the youth for a very bad activity or activities. This is not the time for that. We want to be in peace. Ghana must be together as we used to be. And of course, We have gone through a lot of elections, and the next one is another phase. NDC, we will keep our promise, we'll keep to our promise.
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Have.
There's more news at myjoyonline.com. My name is Gifty Andopia.